It was midnight. The house was quiet. Everyone was asleep.
Except for me.
Charlie was lying in bed. He was trying to sleep. Oh, what was that noise? It came from the kitchen.
I was scared. Was it a monster? Was it a robber?
He had to be brave. He had to find out. Charlie got out of bed. He grabbed his teddy bear.
I tiptoed out of my room.
He was a brave explorer. The kitchen door was closed. Charlie took a deep breath. He slowly opened the door.
The kitchen was dark. The noise was louder now. All right, let's see. Where could that noise be coming from? It sounded like it was coming from somewhere in the kitchen, but I can't be sure. Maybe if I retrace my steps, I can figure it out. First, I'll check the obvious places.
Charlie looked around the kitchen. The room was dimly lit, with shadows dancing on the walls from the flickering light above. He had always found the kitchen to be a bit eerie at night, but tonight it felt especially unsettling. The noise had startled him, and now he was determined to find its source.
Maybe it's under the table? He crouched down, peering into the darkness beneath the table. The floor was cold against his knees, and he could feel a slight draft coming from somewhere. He squinted, trying to make out any shapes or movements, but there was nothing there, just the usual dust bunnies and a stray sock.
He looked under the table. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the empty space. Charlie sighed in frustration. He had been so sure that the noise had come from under the table, but now it seemed like he was back to square one. He needed to think of another place to check.
Nothing here. What about behind the curtains? He walked over to the window, the curtains swaying slightly as he approached. He hesitated for a moment, his hand hovering over the fabric. What if something was actually there? Taking a deep breath, he pulled the curtains aside, bracing himself for whatever he might find.
He looked behind the curtains. The moonlight streamed in through the window, casting a pale glow on the floor, but there was nothing there, just the empty space where the curtains had been. Charlie felt a mix of relief and disappointment. He had hoped to find something, anything that would explain the noise, but it seemed like the mystery was only deepening.
Still nothing. Where was the sound coming from? He stood still, straining his ears to catch any hint of the noise again. The house was silent, save for the occasional creak of the floorboards. He closed his eyes, trying to remember exactly what the noise had sounded like. It had been a soft, almost whispering sound, like something brushing against the walls.
He couldn't find anything. The kitchen was just as it had always been, with nothing out of place. Charlie felt a growing sense of frustration. He had been so sure that he would find the source of the noise, but now it seemed like it had just been his imagination. Or maybe the house was playing tricks on him. Either way, he was no closer to solving the mystery.
"This is so strange," he muttered to himself, running a hand through his hair. He had checked all the obvious places, and still, there was no sign of what had caused the noise. Maybe he was missing something. Maybe there was a clue he hadn't noticed. He decided to take one last look around the kitchen, hoping that something would catch his eye.
Then he saw it. On the counter, a can was fizzing. It was making a growling sound.
It wasn't a monster or a robber, it was just a soda!
Charlie felt silly for being scared. He had solved the mystery.
It was delicious.
He took a sip of the soda. It was delicious. The next morning, Charlie told his family about the growling noise. They all laughed. It was a typical morning in the Claymation household, filled with the aroma of pancakes and the sound of cheerful chatter. Charlie, with his tousled hair and bright eyes, recounted the mysterious growling noise he had heard the previous night. His family, always supportive and loving, listened intently, their faces lighting up with amusement. They couldn't help but chuckle at Charlie's animated storytelling, his hands gesturing wildly as he described the eerie sound that had kept him awake.
"Oh, Charlie, you really had us going." His sister, with a playful glint in her eye, teased him gently. "You should have seen your face," she said, mimicking his wide-eyed expression. The whole family burst into laughter again, the room echoing with their joy. Even their dog, Max, seemed to join in, wagging his tail enthusiastically.
"Our little detective! his father exclaimed, ruffling Charlie's hair affectionately. "You've got quite the imagination, kiddo. Maybe you'll be a detective when you grow up." The family clapped and cheered, celebrating Charlie's adventurous spirit. They loved how he could turn even the simplest of events into grand tales of mystery and excitement.
"Charlie the detective," his mother chimed in, her eyes twinkling with pride. She handed him a makeshift detective hat and a magnifying glass, props from an old costume box. "There you go, Detective Charlie," she said. "Now you're ready to solve any mystery that comes your way." Charlie beamed, feeling a surge of confidence and excitement.
Charlie felt proud. With his new detective gear, he stood tall, his chest puffed out with pride. He looked around the room, imagining all the mysteries he could solve. The growling noise from last night was just the beginning. He was ready for any challenge, any puzzle that came his way. His family watched him with admiration, knowing that their little boy was destined for great adventures.
"Yeah, I'm Charlie the detective," he declared, his voice filled with determination. The family cheered once more, their hearts swelling with love and pride for their little detective. Charlie knew that with his family by his side, he could solve any mystery and overcome any obstacle. And so, with a confident stride, Detective Charlie was ready to take on the world.
From that day on, Charlie was on the lookout for new mysteries. He had always been fascinated by the unknown, the unsolved, and the unexplained. Every corner of his small town seemed to hold a secret, and Charlie was determined to uncover them all. His curiosity was insatiable, and his keen eye for detail made him the perfect detective, even if he was just a claymation character. The townsfolk had come to rely on Charlie for solving the oddest of puzzles, from missing pets to mysterious noises in the night. Each day brought a new challenge, and Charlie embraced them with enthusiasm and a sense of adventure. He knew that even the smallest sound could be an adventure waiting to happen. A rustle in the bushes, a creak in the floorboards, or a whisper in the wind could all be clues leading to the next big discovery. Charlie had trained himself to be alert to every nuance, every subtle change in his environment. His ears were always perked up and his eyes darted around, missing nothing. He had a notebook where he jotted down every odd occurrence, every strange sighting, and every peculiar sound. This notebook was his treasure trove of potential mysteries, each entry a breadcrumb leading to a larger story.
And I'm ready to solve them all. Charlie's voice was filled with determination and excitement. He loved the thrill of the chase, the process of piecing together clues, and the satisfaction of solving a mystery. Each solved case was a victory, a testament to his skills and perseverance. He often imagined himself as a great detective, like those in the stories he loved to read. With his trusty magnifying glass and his detective hat, he felt invincible, ready to take on any challenge that came his way. His friends admired his dedication and often joined him on his adventures, eager to be part of the excitement.
And he was ready to solve them all. Charlie's reputation as the town's detective grew with each solved mystery. People began to seek him out, bringing their problems and puzzles to him, confident that he could find the answers. Charlie thrived on this, his passion for solving mysteries only growing stronger. He knew that the world was full of secrets, and he was determined to uncover them all, one by one. With his friends by his side and his unwavering determination, Charlie was ready for whatever mystery awaited him next. The adventure was just beginning, and Charlie couldn't wait to see where it would lead.